Have you noticed there's been an influx of activity from the sun, our sun, and it hasn't just been like the last thing that's happened. It's been happening over years, and so the news is catching on to that. And why I'm here is because the news is catching on in such a way that propagates a narrative of climate change. Now, I'm not here to say that the climate is not changing. It very much is, but is it changing in the way that is being sold? And in my best surmise, based on things that I've been looking into, the answer to that is no. The whole sort of storyline behind it, it just doesn't seem right, just doesn't fit right. It's too simple, if I may say. Maybe that's not the right thing. I can't find words to express. But it doesn't make sense, let's put it that way. And it's much like, so we're good little obedient people, and we do all the things that we're told to do, in that, like, we recycle and separate, and we do all that kind of stuff, and so we're doing our part, right? And so my question is, like, and it's specifically around plastic, because when I was teaching, when I was still in Europe, and with the kids in Austria, sometimes one of the projects that I was or one of the assignments within the project week that I took on was the environment, and it was always interesting to hear what the young people had to say about the environment, and what we need to do to protect and save and all that kind of jazz. And one of the big things I had no idea about was, it was like a slogan. It was like this, and it was from school to school to school. It was save the turtles. Turtles are eating plastic and whatever. And after a while, it just felt like a regurgitation, And it was one particular school where I challenged one of the kids on it. I can't remember the details of that. He was very smart, and I loved what he was saying, and he thought he got a no-brainer. Well, I'm gonna talk about the turtles because that's a big deal, and la la la, and I think what I would say now to any student is, well, where is all the plastic coming from? Well, yes, it's coming from us, where does it come from before it reaches us, actually? And so who's making it? Who's making the plastic bags? And who's creating all the stuff? And why are they still doing that, actually? If we've got this big plastics issue in the world, in the oceans, then why is all that stuff still being created? Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, we're told to do something, we generally do it, right? And we recycle. And I've had numerous conversations with people in airports and shopping centers, schools, actually not schools, that's not true, but most definitely airports and shopping centers, and people say, those who are cleaning up the center say that it all goes in the same place. There's no point in separating. I've had that conversation with the people who pick it up and then put it in the same place, all of it, and perhaps that's changed. Perhaps it's more stringent, I don't know. However, you know, let's go back to, like, who's creating it? We're the obedient little kids, you know, listening to the parents. But isn't it the parent? And I mean that metaphorically. Isn't it the parent that's creating the plastic and giving it to us? Does that make sense? So, you know, so the whole thing's a little bit of a conundrum for me. Big time, actually. And so I started this with activity happening on our sun. Is the climate changing? Indeed it is. And this is something I'm still investigating. It's so I'm not going to you know, go into it too deeply. However, I just want to, you know, ping your awareness with the fact that, but not a fact, with the possibility that that things aren't the way that they seem yet again. And that, yes, although the climate is changing and it is warming, why is that? And actually, is there a cyclical nature behind it? You know, more than what we're being told and shown. You know me, I like to dig a little bit deeper, or a lot. And so it just doesn't make sense. I leave that with you. I'm going to leave that with you. However, yes, with the increased activity from our sun at present, we have been seeing Aurora Borealis coming down lower and lower, or the northern lights, lower and lower. I mean, more and more, you know, not in the Arctic only regions, and we're seeing it, you know, as we head south from the North Pole. That's you know, geomagnetic activity happening. That's and do you know what? You know what's funny? Actually, not funny at all. Do you know? I think back to the apocalyptic films that you've seen, and don't they always show that, the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis? Don't they always do that? Am I saying that right? Anyways, you know what I mean. You know, and then there's a lot of the increased, so with the weakening of the magnetic field of the Earth and the increased solar activity able to reach us, we're up for geomagnetic storms. What does that mean? What the heck? Let's make this simple. Well, what it means is the grid, our power grid, you know, going off. So there was, you know, an event that happened in 2003 that affected Canada, whereby you can look that up. I think it was, I'm not sure if it was predominantly in Quebec. I believe, I can't remember precisely the details. At the time I was getting married in Newfoundland. It wasn't that day. I think it happened afterwards. I can't remember. Someone reminded me that we were there for an extra few days. I can't, whatever. However, so there was that, and then in the 18, and that was bad. I haven't even looked into the details of it again. However, it happened, and that was due to solar activity. And now, you know, we go back to the 1800s, can't remember exactly the year, doesn't matter. There's the Carrington Event. Look that up and see what happened. If memory serves me correct, and it might not, you know, with less technology, things, thank God, because that would have been really ugly, had that, if that level of solar flare was to affect us today, and actually we're on the trajectory for that. Anyways, telephone wires, you know, things exploded, things happened, electrical systems went down. Look it up, Carrington Event. And yes, I shall dig deeper into this. I am, but I don't want to share so much without having all the, you know, proper details of it. And that all leads me to Nikola Tesla. The man who was a genius, who was developing free energy. Now that's a big conversation we're going to have, because it's really important. And if you actually, I'm going to link Derek of Veritasium's, he made a video about electricity not actually being in wires, about it being in space around the wires. So if you're still with me about the whole space, energy, the frequency, you know, everything exists here, check that video out. It's mind-bending. And if you're following my wavelength, please come with me. Please reach out to me and let's talk about that, because I would love to. I would love to have that conversation, because it's blowing my mind. Anyways, back to Nikola Tesla. So, genius behind free energy, and a lot of it had to do with, I think, actually, and this is where I need to go deeper into the study of it, but so far what's coming to me is, well, let me just put it this way in a nutshell, without going into specifics, because again, I don't want to mislead. But if we were using the energy, if we were using energy the way that Nikola Tesla was trying to put out into the world, then it wouldn't matter if there was a solar flare. It wouldn't matter what the sun's activity was. Well, it would, because we're going to be affected by a flare anyways, like the type that I mentioned in the Carrington event. But there's more. There's more. I don't know them well enough to talk about them. There's more. So anyways, so in specific regard to the grid, to the electrical, to our energy systems, if we were running on the type of energy, if we were running on the system of energy that Nikola Tesla was attempting to put out into the world, we wouldn't have, now think back to the apocalyptic Hollywood films, you know, things blowing up because, you know, electrical systems are overloaded, all that kind of stuff. We wouldn't have that. We'd have other stuff, absolutely. You know, the tsunamis and the earthquakes and the volcanoes and all that kind of stuff. But the power grid, you know, that's directly related right into our homes. Well, it's all related. It's all a bit of a clusterfuck, actually, that I wish for us all to know about, actually. So there we are. I think I'm done. That's all I wish to relay today. I hope you're okay. It's been a while. Lots going on. It's December. And what's the date today? Don't know. It's December, and culmination of the year, of an intense year, which was represented by the number 5, which is the epitome of change. That's what 5 represents. So, and next year shall be quite interesting, as it's a 222 6. The one thing I can say about 6 is magic. So, I'm happy you're here. I'm happy you've watched this. You've tuned in, and let's keep going together. Okay, lots of stuff happening in the world. Continues to seemingly get worse. However, keep yourself good. All right, keep yourselves good, and learn new things. Find pockets of joy. Be around people who who are uplifting. And when you run into shitty situations, see if you can change your perspective. See how much you can drop your ego and learn from situations. There'll be more videos about that, as that's becoming quite a practice. A good one, mind you. Anyways, great love and blessings. Great everything to you, everything good. All right? Take good care, and loads and loads of love to you.